compost, something that we don't really discuss because most of us go out to the stores and we buy compost in bags. So when we get it in the shops, we get plastic pieces and big chunks of wood. In today's video, I'm going to show you how we at the homestead have made our own compost and how easy it is. Hey everyone, it's Sammy from the Small Urban Greens Homestead, and in today's video I'm going to just show you the process of how we make our own compost at the homestead. Let's go around and I'll show you the beautiful rich compost that we've just sieved out. So we've just sieved this out, and you can see if I go like that, it's not too wet and it is absolutely beautiful. So we've just sieved this out this morning, and this is just beautiful organic matter that has broken down. Got a whole bag, and this is only from the first bay. So here at the homestead we actually started with 2 raised beds, 3, and then at the end of that year of starting a homestead I had 4 raised beds in total. There were 2 singles and 2 doubles, and it was very easy to just go out and buy compost in bags. The doubles we would obviously fill up with the cardboards and your wood and your grass clippings and make like a lasagna effect, and then start filling it up with soil and compost. But as the years went by, my raised beds increased, so then I had, I think it was 6, then 8, then it was where it is now along the wall. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 7 along the wall. Then this season we decided to increase the homestead and we put some raised beds going in the middle and some arches. So now in total I've got round about 17 double raised beds, and I can't go out there and buy all the compost and topsoil because financially I can't afford that. So we decided, when the homestead had basically gotten to about 8 raised beds, to start making our own, and that happened in the 3rd year of me homesteading. My results when I first tried composting was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe that everything that I had put in my compost bin had broken down and given me something like this. What I did is that I just threw all the grass clippings, all the dead dried leaves, wood pieces, anything from the garden that we had chopped, and I put it in this, I think it was a wire mesh back then, and during winter it broke down. But then when the homestead started growing to the 17 raised beds that we've got now, we had to try and figure out how we were going to get the compost for that. So then we decided to do a 3-bin compost. We haven't really used it the way it's supposed to be used. So how it's supposed to be done is you got your 3 bays. Your first bay, you'll start throwing in your brown matter, which is your dried leaves and your cardboard and things like that. Then you could also put some green matter, which is grass clippings, and I would put some leftover fruits in that, peels, and you basically let that dry out and break down. Within, I think, 3 weeks you're transferring what has broken down into bin 2, and when it's at a stage where you can move it to bin 3, that will be the final result, where it actually breaks down to this beautiful rich organic matter. I'm not going to go through how to do a 3-way compost bin. Go and check out my other video where I actually go into details on how to do a 3-bin compost, as well as in a small patio, just doing something there, and in your kitchen or on a balcony. That video basically explains it all. So I just wanted to show you and share with you how we actually started, and by doing it this way we actually get to save a lot of money, because this, believe it or not, was once upon a time dried leaves, grass clippings, food matter, twigs and things like that. So for example, this would go into the compost bin, and that would then break down and turn into this, believe it or not, where you can then put it straight back into your raised beds or in pots. And it's this beautiful cycle, because what would have happened to all that grass clippings, dead leaves, and your banana peels and your fruits and that? You would just chuck it, and the garden guys would come and collect it, and they drive away with it and dump it. So in this way you get to put it back into the earth and return it back into your boxes, and this is all for free. So let me take you across to our compost bins. I've actually got two different methods. I've got the 3 compost bins, and I've got my container, because that's basically how I started doing composting. So let's go across there. Was talking about what you could put in your compost bins, and I forgot actually the most important thing, and that is your chicken manure. Chicken manure is like gold for homesteaders, as well as rabbit manure. So if you got rabbits, collect all your rabbit droppings, because they are just full of nutrition, and that would just be the best fertilizer, as well as your chicken manure. So 2 awesome manures that you can actually just dump into your compost bin, and we do it all the time, because it just enriches all of this. And you can see this is what's happening right now. Okay, so we've got 3 compost bins, and what we did this morning is that we actually took all of this out, and we took all that soil. So the soil and compost that you saw in the white bags is from this bay, and we dug all of this out, and we actually sieved all of that beautiful broken down compost, and we put it in the bag. So all of this, from the banana leaves to cut up branches to the grass clippings, that will all be broken down, and that will turn into that beautiful rich organic compost. And then we've got it filled with all of the clippings and that. Unfortunately, we don't actually have enough space to put all of this, so the 3 compost bin method doesn't really work on our side, because by the time we fill the first one, we've still got so much leaves and branches to actually be dumped into our compost bin. So we just do it this way, and then every second week we turn it so that this goes to the bottom and it starts breaking down, and then we try and get as much compost out of these bins right now. And these bins do have these slits, so it does come out. And in these bags we've actually got all the leaves that have fallen from this incredible tree. So go watch that YouTube video, because it actually explains how we utilize our bins, and you can see how much leaves and branches that we've had to actually try and pack there in order for it to break down during winter and give us the soil that we need. But the method really works, because under here the process of everything breaking down is already starting. And then also we've got chickens, and the chickens, what they do, as well as the bunnies, they'll go on there, they'll dig up and they'll poop there. So that really helps. Then I was talking to you guys about how it actually all started, and this is how it started. It started in a bucket like this, which I've now converted into a worm farm. where the liquid actually all falls into here, and in return I get something called worm tea. You can see all the worm tea lined up there. So this is not kombucha, guys. This is actually worm tea, and I actually put this all in here. So this is pure worm tea, and when you dilute it, you would put about that much in a 2-liter bottle and then fill it up with water. You can then return this back into your plants, which fertilizes it absolutely amazing. If I open up here, you'll see that this, wow, this is all the matter here that has started breaking down, and then at the end of the season we would take this all out and put it in our raised beds. And this was not fitting into one raised beds, and that is why we've got this compost bay. So that is how we got started on a small little compost bin like that, where we got compost plus we got liquid fertilizer, and then we obviously made the 3-bin compost bays in order for us to utilize as much of that. So everything that we cut down, we put back into the compost bins, where they will just break down and give us amazing compost. And this is all for free, guys. You just return it back into your raised beds, and you keep feeding your compost bins brown matter, green matter, and at the end of the season you return it back to your raised beds. So this will basically sit for the whole of winter. All of this will sit, and by the end of, say, spring, I will then sieve it out, and I will then do what I'm doing right now, put it in a big white bag and then return it back into my raised beds. Look at this, guys. I can't explain how beautiful and rich this is. So do me a favor and try a small compost bin out, because it is definitely worth it, and it's free, as I said, and your plants will absolutely love this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is something that I found very useful when having a homestead. Also financially, it saves me so much in doing my own compost, but also I know what goes into my compost bin, and by the time I get to sieve this and use this in my raised beds, I just know that it has all the stuff that I've put into my compost bins, like my veggies, leftover peels, food scraps, grass clippings. And when I get to sieve my own compost, there is no plastics in them, only because I know what's been put in here. I put my own material in creating my own compost, and that is so rewarding. And also I know that I've got some rabbit and chicken manure in here, so I've got all the nutrients that a compost bin needs. If you guys found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe so that you don't miss out on any more of our teaching process, and remember, we're here to learn together as we grow together. I'll definitely see you all in the next video.